Hey everybody, it's Kristin at Flagship Title, and I am here today with Justin from Loan Depot again. Yay!
Mm-hmm.
And today we're going to be talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, retargeting your list on Facebook.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Yay!
Yes.
I got it right.
Yes. Very important right
now. That
now.
was our first take.
Yeah. Yes, you got it right.
Yay! Okay, so for those of you joining us, we are going to take a stance that if this is your very first time doing ads, we're going to skip over the very beginning part. So
Right.
if you don't know how to do ads, get in contact with us. You'll see the contact below in the description. So just get in contact with one of us and we will walk you through it. But go ahead, Justin. Let's get started.
Sure. Yeah. So good introduction there. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Like she said,
Okay.
I'm going to skip through the very beginning of, getting into an ad. If you don't know how to get to that part, then of course, reach out to us and we will get you going in the right direction. But you can see my screen now?
Yep, we can see.
All right. So this is once you get into your ad manager, you're ready to create your first campaign in doing retargeting. And basically, because we are in the housing industry, you want to make sure that we are, clicking that this is a special ad category. Facebook got in some trouble for not, having people disclose certain things. So now make sure that you click that.
Yes, we don't want to get
you are
banned.
doing housing.
We don't want to get banned, so make sure.
You do not want to get banned, right? Because you can lose your ad account. You definitely don't want to do that. But yeah, I mean, just go through this. It'll get approved. That's not normally an issue unless you post something that you shouldn't about, rates or, any kind of misleading comment in the ad itself. That you're going to be fine, and it's going to go through just fine.
Yes. No Facebook jail.
No Facebook jail. So for the main part of this and why we want to retarget our list, especially during COVID right now, has nothing to do with for me, I think everything should be about brand awareness. It shouldn't necessarily be about trying to go out and generate a bunch of business because you're setting unrealistic expectation. But I do think that if you're doing brand awareness and people are seeing either your logo, your face, a small video about what you do, how long you've been doing it, why you're a great person for them to follow, like all these different things, your content generated. I think brand awareness is the best way to go for your list, especially if these are people you haven't talked to in a while, or if it's a list that you just acquired. I think this is the best way to start is in your brand awareness.
Agreed.
So once you've, kind of gone through that, you're going to go to your next page here. And then, one of the biggest things everyone asks about is always going to be budget. And really your budget is, it's up to you, right? And it is kind of based off of what your list looks like. If you have 10,000 people on your list, then obviously your budget might be higher to hit people daily. If you have a smaller list, you may not need such a big list. But my suggestion is always go at least a week with saying it's $5 a day. That'd be $35, and figure out what happens with your list.
You always want to, when you're doing just a small list, you always want to go back and evaluate. That's the key to social media. You evaluate, analyze, and go from there, because you always want to know what's working and what's not.
Yeah, and I think one big thing as far as going a week too is that, and especially if you do it on brand awareness, and let's say you happen to do a video or it is your face or whatever, your expectation of what you're going to get is more likely to be hit doing it this way than it is to do something that's a lead generation where you're expecting business, because that's the wrong way to go into Facebook advertising in the first place. But, by doing it this way, I think, having a smaller daily budget, even if you just want to say that I'm going to do a lifetime budget of $25, that's fine. Like get yourself some kind of, start so that you kind of see what things look like. But I think you'll have better results, doing it that way. Okay. Now, the main part of this whole, video that we're doing today is about being able to retarget your current list. And again, this could be people you met at an open house. It could be people that you met, even online. If you do online generation, if you use your broker's, stuff like maybe a Commissions Inc. or, KV Core, something like that, then this is where you're going to want to input that list. What you're going to do, you're not going to have anything here. You're going to make sure that you create your new audience.
Okay.
And once you've clicked on that, you'll go to create new.
Got it.
So once you've gone to your create new, it's going to ask you what kind of audience this is, and you're going to create a custom audience. And then you're going to have a bunch of different options. Okay. Now we could go severely in depth with what all of these do and how they work, but for the point of today, it's just a customer list to get you started in 10 minutes here. Okay. So click on your customer list, and then it is important that you know what your identifiers are. An identifier is basically what the top of your Excel spreadsheet looks like. So it's going to say first name, last name, email, you know, address, you know, all these different things. And Facebook will be able to connect people based on that list. And that is how you're retargeting them. Okay. So if you have an email address, if you have a, you know, address where they happen to live and all of that, Facebook will be able to find them. Okay. Now, if you don't know what that looks like, you can click on creating this download list template. Okay. And basically what that's going to give you is this Excel spreadsheet. Okay.
Right.
So again, your identifiers are these top things up here. So in this case, you have a email, a phone number, a first name, a last name, zip code, you know, county, state, blah, 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 whatever. Anything that you have, you know, put it up there at the top, because it's more likely for people on, or for Facebook to find those people, because it does take time for them to do that. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead and do next. Okay. You're not going to do a customer value because that's super in depth. So we're going to skip on that part of it. And then this is where you want it to be quick. Like you have your list. More than likely, you already have it broken down by name, phone number, email. You probably already have that. You can probably upload it right into here. Now, the one thing is that you do need it in CSV format. So if you don't know how to do that, you know, I could show that just really quick.
Yeah, that's super quick.
Yeah. So file, save as, and then you're just going to save this as a CSV. Okay. So just click on
and
CSV.
Usually that, just for a side note, usually when we're talking CSV files, these are files that when you have any sort of CRM or anything like that, when you're downloading that information, it comes in CSV format usually anyway.
It does. Yeah. So the main thing is that if you want to download that list first and then open it as a CSV in Excel, then I would do that and then kind of clear out some of the clutter, because there probably will be some things in there that, you know, just doesn't matter, and you don't have to upload that in there.
Yeah.
Again, you'll have
not going to recognize.
Yeah, you'll have the opportunity to go back in and, you know, say, here are the things that I want to do. But if you just want to clean it up a little bit, that's not a bad thing, you know, to do that. All right. And then once you've uploaded your file, you're going to name your audience. Okay. So if you want to name this by date, that's you know, I suggest that a lot. Like, here's clients that I know of from this date to this date, or met them at an open house, or, you know, whatever it is, because your ad could be related to what that audience is. You know, if this is a jumbo loan audience, you don't want to send them FHA stuff. So, you know, let's make sure that we name the right audience. But again, in this case, we just want our face out there because we want people to recognize us, you know, when it is time for them to make a purchase, you know, or sell. We want them to recognize us and feel like they've seen us before.
Yep. Top of mind.
Top of mind, always. Okay. So once you've done that, you'll click next. You'll go through the list and say first name, last name, and make sure it's all connected. No problem there. For the case of me, like I already have a lot of these, you know, already done. So, you know, for me, I can kind of skip this part of it. All right. Now, location is going to be a big thing. Okay. So location is, if you've met someone or if you have them as a list, okay, then there's a couple ways to look at this. If it is like a Commission League website or a KV Core, something like that, they may not all live in your specific area. So it could be okay, because it is your list, to do people, you know, either recently in the location, traveling to location, or just not clicking this at all, where it has no impact on location. But for me, I always try to do people that are living in the location, because they're more engaged than people that are not. Okay.
Agreed.
So that's always going to be a big thing. People living in the location, if you want to target it down to Florida, you can do that. If you want to target down to Tampa, you could do that as well. And just for the point of the presentation, you're going to see some things that are different in Facebook now, to where you have to do a minimum of 15 miles. So you cannot be any less than that in Facebook targeting anymore. Okay. So anywhere from 15 to 50 miles, and you can choose it that way too, if you want to do that.
Perfect.
All right. And then the rest of these are going to be set automatically by Facebook. You cannot change the age. You cannot change gender. It has to be everyone. Okay. So whether they're 18 or 99, you're going to target them if they're on your list. Okay. And then language could be important, right? No matter what kind of ad you do, language is important, because if you speak English, you want it to be English. If you speak Spanish, then go ahead and put it in there. You're in like probably a great situation if you did some Spanish advertising.
Yes. But we do not want to put Spanish if we don't speak Spanish, guys.
Correct.
Remember
or
that.
Unless we have someone that we can, get them to really quick, But yeah, I mean, that's always a good thing to make sure that you're going through that, because that's why Facebook puts it in here. The more detailed you can be, the better results you're going to have. The more broad you are, the more results you will have, but the less engaged and the less, lower quality you're going to have too. So
right.
Using this, way, we're kind of like fine tuning the people we really want to be engaged with. Okay. And then detailed targeting. A lot of times, if you're just doing a regular ad, you might say Zillow, you might say realtor.com, you might say mortgage lending. There's a lot of different things you can put in here. But again, because it's your list, right? Leave it blank, because this is your list of people you've had an interaction with. And this is brand awareness. It's not lead generation. So, we'll stick it to specifically just targeting our list. Okay. And then basically the last thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is where your placements go. Okay. So for me, it's very important that I know what the aesthetic of the ad looks like, because that is what I'm trying to get out there as far as branding goes. Right.
Yeah. So you don't want it to look bad.
You don't want it to look bad. And Facebook has all these different places that you can advertise to, and all of them have different looks. And you can go through here and say, customize it for this, customize it for that, but your time is going to become a factor. And really the point of brand awareness is to get it to people that are on the Facebook platform, scrolling through, seeing your face, on the Instagram platform, and they're seeing your face. So for me, I stick to 2 feeds. I don't do anything with stories or any of that. Strictly Facebook newsfeed, Instagram newsfeed. And that just keeps it clean. That way you don't have to worry about, how any of these other things look, because it can get really funky. And Facebook will do like really weird lettering at the bottom. And I'm sure people have seen it too, where you're like, man, that ad just doesn't look good. Well, it's because they didn't,
they didn't format it correctly.
Out there. Yeah. And what Facebook will tell you is that if you want to maximize your reach, then do our automatic, but then they don't go into detail of how to customize it to make it look right. So my suggestion, just stick to, Facebook and Instagram newsfeed. You know what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
All right. And then I always choose the only when connected to Wi-Fi for it to show to them, because if somebody is on, LTE or whatever, they could be driving their car, or they could be, in a lot of places, they could be at a restaurant, they could be wherever. Right. They're not going to be engaged, to look at you, to watch a 1-minute video. They're just not going to. But if they're on Wi-Fi, then that means they're sitting down somewhere, they're at home.
They're more apt to have
at work. They're more likely to. Exactly. They're more likely to engage or follow or whatever. And that is what we want. Okay. And then that is pretty much going to be the end of getting everything set up. Okay. So the back end part of your ad is now done. And then it comes down to, what do we want this advertisement to look like? Okay. So to me, again, what I would do is maybe a short 1-minute intro video. If you're doing this for the first time, maybe you do something, a headshot of some kind, and just tell people who you are or whatever. If you have a logo, definitely use the logo and put it out there so people recognize it. But that is how I would start as far as an ad goes. Now for me, I have certain posts and different things that are up. So for the purpose of the video, I'll make this super simple. You're going to have your Facebook page selected here, right? And then if you are on Instagram and you want to advertise on there, go ahead and click that, right? So choose your Instagram handle. And then for me, I could just choose a post that I've already done, okay?
Yeah, because you have a library of posts.
Right. So if you have a lot of posts, or maybe that one post got more engagement than another, by all means, choose that post and it's already set up for you. If you don't have that, then you can click this create a post if you want it to post to Facebook. If you don't and you just want to do an ad, you can do that as well. And then you just add your, picture and media and whatever right here. Okay.
Right.
There's no super secrets to anything else that is in this part of it. Okay. So the main thing to me is like just keeping it as simple as you possibly can for brand awareness, because that is by far the easiest way to do this. And again, you just want people to see your face, and don't worry so much if people are seeing it 3 or 4 times throughout the week. That's a good thing. It usually takes people to see you 7 times before they really recognize who you are. That's just like the average, right? So you might need somebody to see your page 7 times before they decide to follow. And you may need to, you know, change up this content every week just to see what is working, you know? But for me, the best thing during this COVID-19 has been putting an image out there, putting a logo out there, even if it's something as simple as that, just putting it out there so that people recognize it. And then when it comes down to it, like I've had people reach out to me just on Instagram to say, I remembered you because your name is so easy. Like, now I need a mortgage, you're the Tampa mortgage guy. Like, that is super simple.
It's super simple.
Super simple. And I've had them where they're like, I saw your advertisement, you know, a couple days ago. And I'm like, and you remembered that? So the power of the logo, the name, like what you're putting in the content is just, it's super important. So focus on that part of it, and then just keep the list simple, because again, likely these are people that you've met for the last however many years you've been in the business. And so it's just important that you know, are hitting them the right way, you know.
And it's important to understand that when we're doing these technically ads,
right,
we're not just putting it out there, we're retargeting specific people.
Right.
So it's not going out to all of these masses of people and we're just kind of like, hey, maybe we'll get something out of it. No, these are people.
Right.
So that's why this is so important, and it's worth the $5 a day if you decide to do $5 a day. It's worth that money because you've already touched them at some point. They're in your database.
Right. And I think probably the biggest thing is the reason why we're retargeting is because they didn't follow through with whatever it is that we were doing. If they went to an open house, they didn't buy that house. You know, like there's a reason that we have them on this list. There's a reason why we're having to follow up with them this way. And what a lot of people are focusing on right now, especially a lot of realtors, and I'm like trying to show them how to work this. And if you're a realtor, reach out to me. Like I don't have any expectations of things. I will just help you. But you know, the biggest thing that I see is that they're all focused on new business. And the reality is that they probably have a handful of people in their pipeline that are interested or know someone that's interested. And this is by far the best way to do this. And if you think like, well, retargeting my list, I only have 100 people. But once you get those 100 people to follow your page, that is where you change up your advertisement down the road, and you're looking for referrals. You know, hey, do you know anyone that's looking? And that's how you extend your reach, so that branding and everything that you're doing continues to get out there. So yeah, I mean, if you're just trying to think about how to make this work, or if you're a full-time realtor and you're struggling because of what's going on, and you have every right to be, then reach out to me so I can help you get this set up like sooner than later, because you know, I think that we will see a lot of movement in the next few months. That's a great opportunity to get out there, especially while other people are sitting on the sidelines, you know.
Well, and during this whole COVID time period, you know, Facebook and Instagram activity has boosted. Facebook alone was 20% boost in this time.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that everybody's taking advantage of this, you know, while it's hot.
Yes, exactly. And people are there to look at it. You have the opportunity to get them to follow your page. And then, you know, it is up to you to continue to create the content, to, you know, put the stories out there. Or in my case, you know, creating new content all the time is hard, because I have so many things I'm doing, and I do help a lot of people with this advertising and stuff like that. So a lot of my stuff is not a post or content driven, it's advertisement driven. So I'm teaching a class, or I'm teaching something about mortgage or whatever in my advertisement, not so much on my post because of the engagement that it gets. So as you develop and you evolve your advertising strategy, it will get better. But this is the best way to start right now if you just want people to remember you, you know, or know who you are. So definitely taking advantage of the fact people are on the platforms right now as much as they are is huge. Because I guarantee you that not enough people are doing it, which gives the people that watch this video a head up on everyone else.
Agreed. And just to reiterate, when we're retargeting, we've already touched these people. So it's easier versus trying to get, brand new business and just putting ads out there. These are people that have already been touched. So now you're already past the 7, you're at 6 at least, if not more.
Right.
Or less.
Yeah. and that's true, because there's a million people that teach all these strategies. I'll give you all these referral leads. And I see them all the time. I get targeted as a realtor all the time. So I can only imagine what people that actually have realtor in their name, what they get, right? But
absolutely.
I see it all the time. I guarantee you this many, appointments. I guarantee you, all these different things. They have all these strategies. And, maybe some of them work. I don't want to poo-poo on their parade, but I've been there, done that. I've seen the actual results of the things. And at the end of the day, this is not about, your brand awareness is getting people engaged with you, remembering who you are, but we're trying to create business, right? So we're pulling business right now out of people that we've already had contact with. But the goal of this is to create business. It's just business of people we already have. Going to try to create new business on any social media platform is 10 times more difficult than just doing it this way, because there's just so much more qualifying you have to do with these guys than you do with someone you've already had contact with.
Yeah, because there's so many on social media, everywhere you look.
Yeah.
There's mortgage, realtor, title, mortgage, realtor, title. They're all out there.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah. And if you're in the bit, lead generation is a whole different animal on its own. So of course there's going to be a million people in that, because they make a lot of money doing that. And that's fine. I don't mind somebody doing that, but the results is what I'm more concerned about, So the fact is that if one person watches this and they go put their list in there and they go create a deal because somebody remembered who they were, then that's awesome. You just created a deal you otherwise would not have had. So,
and it took you, max, let's say you've never even been into ads, 15 minutes.
Yep.
Max.
Yep.
So,
well,
I appreciate you going over this with us today.
Sure.
And
no problem.
Again, just a reiteration for everybody that has watched this video, if you need help or you have never done an ad before and you're kind of lost, contact us and we'll help you through it. And Absolutely. Our contact information is below. Awesome. Thank you so much, Justin, and you have a great rest of the day.
You as well.